Hey, what's going on everybody? This is LEGO Jake here, and welcome to part 19 of our Ben 10 Power Trip Let's Play. We're here right back at it again before the end of the game, taking on Hex's 3 trials, testing our strength with each of our aliens before we have to fight him himself. Last episode we took on Trial A, so today we'll be wrapping up Trials B and C, of course, and getting ourselves out of this Void Rift area. But because we're here right before the end of the game, I thought of something kind of fun we could do. One of my favorite pastimes is looking up negative reviews on things I enjoy to see what kind of odd criticisms people have over the stuff I like. And because I've given Ben 10 Power Trip quite a bit of praise throughout this whole Let's Play, I thought it could be kind of interesting to see what kind of negative reviews we could find for this game, and honestly, I didn't find many. It's nice to see most people have rated this game pretty highly, honestly, about a 4 out of 5 star rating consistently, but I did definitely find a handful of entertaining ones that I will now read for you. And I should probably mention that for all these reviews I'm going to read off, I'm not going to mention the person's name who wrote it. If you're really that interested, you could probably find it for yourself. Not that important. Just wanted to make sure. I'm not trying to dox anybody. These are just funny. Okay, so this first one is pretty simple, kind of similar to some stuff we've said. Graphics are awful, it's glitchy, and it says loading every minute. Now, I wouldn't necessarily agree with the loading thing. The graphics are not incredible by any means, and glitchy, I think he means laggy. It definitely is laggy all the time. And I wouldn't say it necessarily loads every minute, though. It's honestly pretty consistent with the loading. And the loading screens are kind of interesting, too. They go by pretty quick, and I like that they show the different aliens and characters, and maybe have, like, some quotes from them, or, like, things about the character. It's more interesting than your average boring loading screen, it could be a lot worse. This next guy just gave it 1 star and said, "I hate it," with about 4 million exclamation points, I would say. But then 2 people followed it up with 5-star ratings. One person said, "It is good," with about 4 million thumbs up emojis and 2 heart eye emojis. And then the person above them with 5 stars put, "It looks cool," a lot longer than that, but about 1 million O's. Kind of confusing that all 3 of those are right in a row, but the person directly after that is a little bit confusing. See, he gives it 1 star and says, "Why have so many people given this 5 star? It's a great game, but the final product is just terrible." Now, don't get me wrong, he says terrible, but you said it was great first, so why is it 1 star? Shouldn't it be 2, maybe 3? And then he follows up to say, "The game has a massive glitch that deletes aliens you've unlocked, which means you can't finish the game." Now, I'm not really sure which glitch he's referring to. I have not experienced that, and I've dashboarded this game. I've quitted out at random times. I've had blue screens on this game before at random times, and I've never had any sort of, game-breaking glitches. So, if you have experienced anything like that, maybe leave it down in the comments. Let me know. I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't know. But this next one's pretty funny. This one's actually from Steam. He gave it a not recommended, obviously, and said this game should be called Ben 6 instead of Ben 10 because we only got 6 playable characters for this game. And that one's actually pretty good, I can't lie, because that is very accurate, I can't lie. Then this next guy, obviously, again gave it a not recommended, said, "Co-op is bad implemented. The second player can't complete missions. When first player dies, the second player reborn together, and it didn't matter what he was doing. I bought the game to play together with my son, and co-op is just a bad experience." I think by reborn, he means that both characters respawn together, which does sound a little lame. I obviously haven't played co-op for this game. We've been doing this solo, so I guess I would say maybe take that one and listen to it. Maybe don't play this game co-op too often if you don't have to. I also read one that I didn't save to look at over here, but it did say that the co-op tether, between characters, is, super small, so you guys have to basically, stay in the same area. Co-op might be pretty trash. Not sure, but it sounds like co-op might be pretty trash. However, that is how you play as Kevin 11 and all of his aliens, so if you want to experiment with that, then I guess you're gonna have to deal with the trash multiplayer at least a little bit. Whenever we show off Kevin 11's characters in this series, though, I am going to be playing the multiplayer, but I'm not going to be playing any missions or anything. It's just going to be the free play mode that I just spawn him in just so I can show you guys his aliens, because I want to show off all the characters in this game. It would be pretty silly not to. And one last review that we've got here. It's pretty long. This one's a pretty long one. Okay, he gave it a not recommended on Steam and played 24.8 hours of it, so clearly he has a right to be a little upset, I would say. He says, the missions are repetitive and almost the same, the characters feel like bots and don't feel alive, not to mention how dumb the quizzes are. The world is so dead and it doesn't feel fun to go around and explore. Also, they picked one of the weakest villains in the entire show, literally. It would have been better if the main villain was Vilgax or a bunch of weak villains, not one. I can understand that because they did that with the side-scroller Ben 10 game, and I think we brought up Vilgax in the beginning of this Let's Play, saying that that would have been a interesting choice, but Hex isn't as bad as I think this guy's making it out to be. I think he's fine. And then he follows up and says, okay, that was the bad things. The good things is the transformation system. You feel like the master of the Omnitrix, and you can do a mix of every alien attack by simply transforming into each one every 2 seconds to feel the nostalgia. That's pretty accurate. It is really fun being able to, like, right-click really quick and switch to whoever you want. You can do it really swiftly by this point in the game. You get really good at it. And then he says basically the navigation and Omnitrix and aliens is the good thing in the game, and everything else is literally trash. I hope they make this game better in the future. Adding Vilgax will be really great for older fans, and also buy it if you got some money that you don't mind spending, because this game really isn't worth the price. And then another guy right under him also said to wait for the game to be on sale, so maybe listen to them. I don't know. I think the game's pretty good. It would be pretty interesting if they did add Vilgax later on, like if they made Ben 10 Power Trip DLC. And even though it is an open world game and they could do that, I kind of don't foresee that happening, just because it is such a niche game made on like the Unity engine by like this small little company. I don't foresee it having a super long lifespan. This may be what we're stuck with, but it would also be nice if they at least put out an update to fix maybe some of the glitches and stuff that people were talking about there. It is interesting to read those type of negative reviews, though, to see what kind of stuff people are experiencing. It's funny that we finished reading them right as we finished that trial. That's also pretty cool. You know, there's not too much to explain with the trials. You saw that. But, yeah, it is interesting to see how people are handling the game. Obviously, we haven't had too many glitches, not that I can recall. Maybe, like, some textures not loading in super quick. Sometimes when you punch at enemies, you can go right next to them and, like, be hitting, like, the air, but that's more just, like, not amazing controls than glitches. Maybe that's what I don't know. I don't know what other people are experiencing. If you have taken on a lot of glitches in this game or faced a lot of weird problems, I would definitely be interested to know. Again, leave all that down in the comments. I would be very interested to hear about all of the different issues this game has to make a final verdict for it, because where I stand, it's about like a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect. The missions are pretty fun. I've even enjoyed a lot of the side missions. I love the characters for the 6 aliens we do have. It's a lot of fun. Most of the characters in the open world, I know that one guy said that it's very... voice crack for the win right there. But I know that one guy said that most of the stuff feels very dead, but I honestly felt like the world felt pretty alive for as, like, niche of a game that it is. It's not like a Bethesda game, you know what I mean? So it's not going to feel like every inch of the world has something going on, but it's pretty alright, if you ask me. You guys should know by this point, I've said the biggest problem that I have with this game is just the lag in, like, every single area except for, like, this Void Rift. This seems to be pretty much the most consistent area in the game, so we got a good episode, at least. I will say that was one of the things I read in there a lot that was even from most of the positive reviews, is a lot of people said regardless of the platform that you got it on, I have it on the original PS4, but people on the PS4 Slim, people on the Xbox, people on PC, people on Nintendo Switch, it doesn't seem to matter at all. This game is just not formatted very well, I would suppose. It lags all the time, everywhere, no matter who you are, and that's pretty severely disappointing. I think it is good that they put in the top 6 best aliens, or some of the best ones out there, at least for the reboot standards, because if they had then Ben 6 with, 6 of the not fan favorites, it would have been a little awkward, I have to say. With all the lag and everything else, I feel like it would have been pretty inexcusable, and everyone would probably just stick to the side-scrolling game, which is pretty fun as well. If you guys want me to play through that in the future, I wouldn't mind. It's quick and easy, and it is a lot of fun. The bosses are really cool. It only took me, I think, maybe 8 hours to 100% that game totally, with all the trophies and everything. So I wouldn't mind going through it again if you guys really wanted to. Ben 10 stuff is pretty fun. I don't consistently watch the show too much anymore. I used to obviously watch the original series, but I have no problem keeping up with some of the games. It is pretty awesome, because it's just beat-em-up alien games. Can't complain about that. Also, this reminds me of Frogger, what we're doing right now. It's pretty fun, though. And honestly, now that I'm thinking of it, because this little Frogger moment was here in Trial B, wouldn't it have been cool if each of the trials use the powers of the aliens, of course? You know, Heat Blast has to use fire, Diamond Head has to cross the gaps and everything. But it would have been cool if they would have made each of them like a little mini-game based on an older game. Like they did Frogger for this one, maybe like Space Invaders for the Wrath and XLR8 section, stuff like that. That would have been really, really cool. But, that's not what happened at all. Sorry. I guess other negative news, there's no Ben 10 Lego sets coming out this year, or, that I know of anyway, that anyone knows of. Lego Ideas has came and passed, which is super sad. They had some cool ones on there. Obviously, the winners are yet to be announced, but there is no mention of Ben 10 on there. Very, very sad stuff for all of us Ben 10 fans that want better Legos, because right now we just have those god-awful looking Bionicle type characters, and we need a world where that's not the only thing that we have, you know what I'm saying? We even have Lego Cars sets, like Disney's Pixar's Cars. Yeah, those have Lego sets out there. There's Tron Legacy sets. Where are all the Ben 10 sets? The show is still relevant. It's just a different version, guys. You can, by the way, look at those laggy cutscenes. This is why I complain about this game. I mean, come on, bro. But seriously, I'll drop it right after this. Ben 10, Lego, Omnitrix. That's all I'm gonna say, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Frankly, that gives me a really good idea for an entire line of Legos they could do. Just Lego famous watch things. Because they have, like, the Pip-Boy from Fallout. That would be a freaking cool set. Even if you couldn't put it on, which would be even cooler if you were able to put it on. But even if it was just something to put on the shelf, how epic would that be? Or if, honestly, Lego Fallout in general seems really cool. Once you get me started with Lego Ideas, though, in general, it just sort of branches off like that. One thing can make this thing sound cool, and everything would be cooler as a Lego set, honestly. I'm looking at my desktop wallpaper of Stranger Things 3 right now, and honestly, it would be a cool Lego set. I think I've just been so focused on the 2021 stuff coming out that my mind is just made out of Lego bricks right now, to say the least. However, I suppose there's a certain time and place for topics, and Lego and Ben 10 don't seem to mix, right? Right, Lego? Because you won't make another set, right? So they obviously don't mix. I guess I'll just have to talk about Ben 10 by itself. It's crazy that we're here at the end of the trial. We've been sitting here having random conversations this whole episode. Sometimes these are my favorite ones, though. I mean, sometimes I'm really focused on, we're doing this, and let me explain this, and blah, 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 and really gaming type stuff, but sometimes I just like to kick back and, talk to you guys about what's new, what's going on, what's popping. Brand new whip just hopped in. But, there's just not much to say about this game anymore. I mean, you know how these ruin challenges work. A little vortex goes over the ruin, and you have to kill all of these enemies to go and make that little force field vortex thing go down, and then you can destroy the ruin. It's pretty simple stuff. All of these trials were pretty simple. Most of my deaths came from missteps and falling off edges rather than enemies, so overall, I would say this is probably not the hardest point in the game. I mean, I don't even have a lot of upgrades, and all those trials were pretty goddamn simple, I'm not gonna lie. But we are officially done. We've built the Omniguard. We gotta go pick it up. Hex stands no chance at this point.
Let's hope this works! I got the Omniguard.
Let's hope it works. The tablet hasn't failed us yet.
I'm ready as I'll ever be to face Hex. I bet he's in the castle by now.
Good luck, Ben.